Fucking hell, guys. Putin's just tested the Poseidon underwater nuclear tsunami bomb. Jesus Christ, this thing looks dangerous. Check this out.
Russia has tested the Poseidon nuclear torpedo, a reactor-driven, nuclear-armed underwater weapon built to unleash radioactive tsunamis that can wipe coastlines clean. This system uses a compact nuclear reactor for propulsion. It can run for thousands of kilometers, dive to depths near 1,000 meters, and sprint at speeds measured in hundreds of kilometers per hour. It needs no crew. It needs no pilot. Once launched, it follows programmed routes or remote commands until detonation. Its warhead yield is measured in multiple megatons. The blast at sea becomes a weaponized ocean. A shockwave of water and irradiated debris slams shorelines. Ports collapse. Harbors are buried. Cities drown beneath contaminated waves. Radiation rides the surge inland and turns populated zones into long-term exclusion zones. Russia intends to field dozens of these weapons on converted large submarines. Each torpedo is a mobile reactor plus a city-killing payload. Each launch is a moving catastrophe with no human at the controls to stop it once it runs. Communications can fail, guidance can be corrupted, accidents can spill reactor material long before any conflict begins. This is not a precision strike tool. It is area denial by radiation. It is engineered to render land uninhabitable and to erase the normal lines of defense. The ocean becomes the delivery mechanism for permanent damage. One coastal detonation can kill and displace millions, collapse infrastructure, and poison food and water supplies for generations. Multiple launches scale that outcome into regional collapse. The strategic map is altered, not by missiles in the sky, but by radiation in the sea. This is a weapon designed to make places unlivable. It changes the very meaning of conflict.
Seriously, guys, if he did ever unleash that upon us in England, the whole country could potentially be completely fudged. Seriously, this thing could absolutely annihilate a country if we were hit by a nuclear tsunami. Jesus Christ, guys, it doesn't bear thinking about, seriously. Fuck.
But that's not all. You should know, yesterday we conducted another test of another promising system. This is the Poseidon unmanned underwater vehicle, also with a nuclear propulsion system. For the first time, we succeeded not only in launching it from a submarine using its booster motor, but also in igniting the nuclear propulsion system, which the vehicle used for a certain period of time. This is a tremendous success.
Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 8. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride upon the horses and thy chariots of salvation? I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going into the nuclear torpedo, Poseidon. Okay, the nuclear underwater torpedo called the Poseidon. Okay, that is a very, very powerful weapon. Very powerful weapon, as you see. Okay, in the clips before. That's no joke. All right. And for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to put it in their minds to make this, it just goes to show the pain and the havoc and the epic historic time it's going to be on the earth very soon, because these weapons were made to be used. The Lord put it in their minds to make these weapons. So these are the Lord's weapons, okay, that he used them to do. Okay, the same way when we teach, these are the Lord's words through the Spirit speaking to us. All right, sent from the heavens. Okay, so think about it like that on the other side. All right, let's read it again. Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 8. Was the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Right. Okay, because one thing to think about is that these things are going to be happening simultaneously. All right. So yes, the nuclear missiles are going to cause the sea and the earth to shake back and forth. Okay. That's part of the Lord's anger, right? That's part of the Lord's anger against the seas, against the earth, because he's the one that set it up for these bombs to go off. Okay. But at the same time, the power and the energy from the heavens, okay, Yahushua coming down here with the holy angels, millions of them, it's going to shake the earth. It's going to shake the seas along with those missiles. So you got to think about that together, all together. These powerful, powerful weapons that we ain't never seen before. Think about the weapon, the Poseidon from Russia. It travels undersea, under the water. Okay? Think about that. Then it causes an historic tsunami that's radioactive. Come on, man. Okay? A radioactive tsunami that's never been seen before. That's what this nuclear underwater missile causes. Okay? Think about that. It can't be stopped. Okay? At all whatsoever, man. All right? So it's a very, very dangerous weapon. Then you combine that with way more power, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and the holy angels coming from the heavenly realm down to here. Okay, so you think about both the prophecies. Okay, they intertwine. All right. Verse 9, the bow was made quite naked, according to the oaths of the tribes, even thy word. Thou didst cleave the earth with rivers. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. You hear that? The overflowing of the water passed by. Okay, talking about the seas. All right, the rivers, the seas, the waters of the earth. Okay, it's going to overflow through these events. All right, it's going to overflow. Okay, and it reminded me of the movie Deep Impact. I got to watch that again. Okay, it reminded me of that. Made me think about it. All right, Lord willing, I can watch that today. Deep Impact. If you haven't seen it, it's an older movie starring Morgan Freeman. And pretty much it was a huge tsunami, okay, wave of water that overflowed the world, that overflowed America. Okay, it destroyed them. All right. It says, the mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice. Right, the mountains talking about the kingdoms. They saw and they trembled, man. They're like, oh, shit. Okay, the overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thy arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear. Right, the nuclear missile. Okay, you're going to have nuclear missiles shot in the air that's going to be bathed in heaven. As the scriptures talk about, the sword shall be bathed in heaven and drop down on Idumea, on Edom, on Esau. But simultaneously, you're going to have nuclear missiles shot through the ocean, in the ocean, traveling in the ocean. Think about that, man. Traveling in the ocean. It makes a lot of sense when you think about and put it all together, how the earth is going to shake back and forth like a drunk man. Okay, not a tipsy man, but a real drunk man, meaning fully falling out back and forth, getting up, stumbling here, stumbling there. Everything falling, knocking shit down everywhere. Okay, it's going to be total chaos. All right, verse 12. Thou didst march through the land in indignation. Thou didst stretch the heathen in anger. Right. Okay, for the controversy of Zion, man, of the Israelites, man. It's payback, it's judgment. Verse 13. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of thy people, even for salvation with thine anointed. Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked of Esau by discovering the foundation unto the neck. Right. The skirt was lifted up into the neck. And all the secrets, all the wicked plans, okay, were discovered. You can read that in Isaiah chapter 47. Okay, 47 chapter. All right, the Lord did that through the prophets. Okay, verse 14. Thou didst strike through with the staves the head of the villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. You hear that? Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. That's that vain thing. They imagine a vain thing. You read that in Psalms chapter 2. The heathen coming together, coming against the Lord and his anointed saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast their cords from us. You can read that in Psalms chapter 2. Okay, so this goes back also to, this connects with the enemy coming in like a flood, and the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. All right, it's going to be war. Verse 15, thou didst walk through the sea with thy horses, through the heap of the great waters with the chariots. Thou didst walk through the sea with thy horses, thy chariots, through the heap of the great waters. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself. Right, because Habakkuk is seeing this vision. He's seeing the vision like, whoa, man, like what the? Okay, because he's seeing the worst time in history. He's getting a glimpse of it. That's why he's writing it down for us to read and understand that this time will be the worst time in history. Okay, and if you're not prepared, you're going to die a horrible death. Those are the facts. All right. It says that I might rest in the day of trouble, meaning he ain't there. He don't want to be there. Okay. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. Right. Okay. You're going to have them trying to, number one, you have Yahushua and his troops, thousands of angels and thousands and millions coming down to invade. Okay, because why? Because Esau is going to invade us with his troops. Okay, trying to scatter us, trying to destroy us secretly. Let's go back to verse 14. Thou didst strike through with the staves the head of the villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. Okay, so it's going to be two invasions. Okay, but guess what? The Lord's troops is going to win. All right, the angels, Yahushua and the angels, they're going to win easily. Okay, it tells you that Esau is going to become like women, the military man. Okay, so it made me think about seeing that new weapon, the Poseidon. It made me think about these scriptures. Okay, the water removing out of its place, the sea removing out of its place. That's going to happen, man, simultaneously through different angles, through the missiles and through the power from Yahushua, okay, and the heavenly army coming down here, and that energy shaking the world, shaking the earth. Okay, that's the truth. Let's go to 2 Esdras chapter 13. Let's start at verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And look, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. Okay, that it moved all the waves thereof, meaning the sea was removing out of its place. Okay, this is not a joke, man. This is not a joke. Okay, so you have the nuclear missiles that's going to do this. Okay, but the strongest of all, Yahweh Bashim Shai and his sons, the holy angels, okay, are going to do this themselves as well. Verse 3, and I beheld and looked that man waxed strong, Yahweh Shai, with the thousands of heaven, thousands of angels, thousands of top of thousands. You can read that in the Psalms, I think 68, verse 17, I think. Somebody can post it. It says, and when he turned his countenance to look, talking about Yahushua, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Of course, they trembled. Okay, they heard that trumpet. They see the world going to pure chaos. All right? You got nuclear war, all kinds of things, man. Invading one another. You can't trust nobody. It's going to be a horrible time, man. It's going to be a horrible time. You got to be prepared. Only way to be prepared is to walk through that door. Okay, the safe house. Yahweh Shai is the door. If you walk through that door, you're safe. If not, you're going to die. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, let's go to Revelation chapter 6, start at verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it was rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. Moved out of their place. The earth is going to shake back and forth like a drunk man. Okay, and we're going to be on this earth begging for the Lord to save us. So Yahweh Shai is coming to save us out of this. This grace period right now is to get prepared for it. Seek the Lord while he may be found, so that you can escape this, man, and be able to stand when he come. Because it's going to be horrible. Okay? They thought it was a joke when Noah was prophesying. Oh, it ain't going to happen. It's never rained before. All right, leading to now. Oh, it ain't going to happen. Ain't no nukes going to go off. They ain't going to do that. But then Esau dropped an atomic bomb, okay, which is pretty much a nuke, all right, on who? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So come on, man, okay? We're going to see some things that the earth has never seen before, and that's the time it is. It's the time of judgment. Okay, verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great man, and the rich man, and the chief captains, and the mighty man, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the earth, of the mountains. Right, they hid themselves. Okay, they hid themselves, man. Verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth upon the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Right. Okay. Hide us from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the rising of the sun in the east. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord shall lift up a standard. They're going to fear, man. Okay, they're going to be begging for death and ain't going to be able to die. Okay, a certain amount of them. Okay, because death is coming for a lot of them. But a certain amount the Lord has preserved to go right into slavery. To think they got away from the nukes and the destruction. They're going to have food down there. It's going and it ain't going to help them. Might help them for an hour, maybe. All right. So it says, the second part, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth upon the throne, Yahweh, and from the wrath of the Lamb, Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh is going to send Yahweh Shai and the angels. Okay. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right. Nobody, except those who have faith in Yahweh Shai. When he comes, shall he find faith on the earth, the hopeful elect. They're going to be able to stand through the power and strength of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and the holy angels. But everybody else is just screwed, man. You screwed. Okay, so there you go, man. All right. That weapon is powerful. Okay, that weapon is powerful, man. Just imagine that being used. Okay, underground, all of a sudden, I think it said 1,600 foot tsunami or bigger. Imagine that. You go outside and you see this big water of ocean coming for you. Okay, we ain't even talking about fire right now. I'm talking about just the ocean. All right, so all these different things is going to be mingled together. Oh, man, worst time in history for sure. Okay, so with that, I hope you're edified. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to Yaakam that is doing the truth in all sincerity. Shalom.